Hello and welcome back to the channel, guys. So today I'm going to be testing the RX 9070 Sapphire pulse model of the card. I'm going to be testing it against the RTX 4070 Super Founders Edition of the card. It's going to be a 1440p test. I have done a 4K test. I will have it linked in the description below. And I am using the 9000X3D. I'm using 32GB of DDR5. And yeah, guys, all the specs are going to be in the description below. And let's get started with the video. Right guys, so we're starting out with The Last of Us Part 2 Remastered, running at 4040p, very high settings with TAA. We're seeing around 10 to 12 FPS difference between these two GPUs. The power draw seems to be around the same on both of the GPUs, and the 1% lows are looking fantastic. It just runs really well, I have to say. Like 90 FPS, 100 FPS is just really nice to see, especially in 4040p. And you know, this is with TAA, so you can always enable DLSS and FSR, and you can get even more FPS. Don't really need it in this situation, but you know, I think DLSS and FSR look amazing, so I would use it personally. And also you can get more FPS as well, so it's always nice to see. And next up we have Stalker 2 Heart of Chernobyl, running at 1440p epic settings with TAA. And we're seeing that the RTX 4070 Super is around 2 to 3 FPS faster in this title. I don't think it matters too much. I mean, it's just a few FPS, and also this game is just so stuttery as well. Like, UE5 title, so it's going to be stuttering quite a bit. I think in the 4K test, the stuttering was much lower on the 4070 Super, but in 1440p, I'm seeing that the 9070 seems to be doing a better job, because the 0.1% lows on 66 and the 4070 Super at 56 FPS, so it is doing a little bit better. But I think the experience is probably very similar, especially in 4040p, because in 4K it was a much bigger difference in the 1% lows. Yeah, I do recommend, you know, FSR and DLSS just to get a bit more FPS, and the FPS is going to be much higher on the 1% lows, so it should be a smooth experience. Maybe even some frame generation just to get the stuttering to the minimum, basically, because I've noticed that frame generation does help a lot with it. And also you're not going to get too much input lag because you're already getting 90 FPS, so it should be much smoother and just a better experience overall, I think. Right guys, so we have FORZA Ryzen 5 running at 1440p max settings with TAA, and we are seeing that the 4070 Super did stutter. If you run these cards long enough, they both will start stuttering, so I wouldn't look at that too much. I've noticed that the 4070 Super seems to be pulling a bit less power in this game, so it's pulling like 30 to 20 watts less than the 9070. Putting all the stuttering aside, I have to say that both of the cards are doing a really good job, over 100 FPS, and we are playing with ray tracing, so you know, it's really intense. So I'm surprised how well these GPUs are doing. I know it's just 1440p, but I'm still pretty impressed that, you know, they're getting over 100 FPS. Yeah, there's really nothing much to say. Both cards are doing a fantastic job in this game. Alright guys, up next we have Spider-Man 2 running at 4040p, very high settings with TAA. And we're seeing the same thing as we saw in Stalker 2, so the stuttering happened in this game as well. Like I said with the other game, I do recommend frame generation, especially in this title. It really does help with the stuttering. It will happen once in a while, but it definitely helps quite a bit. Even on my 5090, I did use MFG and it really helped. I do recommend that. We are seeing over 100 FPS on the 9070, which is really amazing to see. And 80 FPS on the 4070 Super is not too bad at all as well. Especially if you enable frame generation, you should be getting a really smooth experience. And with this type of FPS, you're not going to really feel too much input lag, so it should be completely fine. But yeah, I think both cards are doing a pretty decent job in this title. Alright guys, so we're going into The Last of Us Part 1, and then at 1440p ultra settings, and we're seeing around 15 FPS difference between these two GPUs. The 1% low seem to be really bad on the 4070 Super. I'm not sure if it's running out of VRAM or what the hell's going on, because it seems to be using 11GB of VRAM, but I'm not sure what's causing the stuttering with this GPU. The 9070 seems to be completely fine, and over 100 FPS, and the 1% lows sitting at 88 FPS. I know in 4K, the 4070 Super was definitely running out of VRAM, but in 43p, I can't really tell if it's running out of VRAM or I don't know really what's causing the stuttering. But yeah, not the best performance from the 4070 Super. I think if you enable DLSS quality, you should be completely fine in the 4070 Super. It should lower the VRAM usage and give you a sharper image as well and give you more FPS. I think that could fix the issues that we're seeing. Right guys, so we have God of War Ragnarok running at 43p ultra settings with TAA. We're seeing that both cards are doing a fantastic job getting over 100 FPS on this title. The 1% lows are really good as well on both of the GPUs, and the power draw is exactly the same basically. And it's just a really well optimized title. I do recommend you guys picking this up because this game is just so well optimized. Every single card that I throw at it, it just works so well. Especially if you have like 12 gigabytes at least of VRAM, it should be completely fine and basically every resolution with max settings. It's just a really nice game, honestly. I do recommend guys do it every video basically. I recommend this game, but it's just so well optimized. I really love it. So right guys, so we have Red Dead Redemption 2 and at 1440p ultra settings with TAA. For some reason I couldn't put my MSIA reflections on ×8 on the 9070. I did reset my PC before, so I don't know how that can have anything to do with my settings in the game, but it just didn't let me put ×8 on, so I'm just showing it how it is. And I couldn't retest the 4070 Super just because I sold the GPU, so I can't retest it anymore. The 9070 should get probably like 3 or 4 FPS lower than it has. So if you see the 104, then should be getting around 100 with the same settings as the 4070 Super. Nevertheless, the both cards are doing a fantastic job. 4070 Super is literally getting 90 to 80 FPS, which is absolutely amazing, and the 9070 is getting over 100 FPS. Really good performance from two GPUs, and it is a really old game, so you do kind of expect these results. And next up we have Silent Hill 2 running at 4040p with the Epic preset, and we're seeing that the 4070 Super is around 3 to 4 FPS faster than the 9070. It is a really hard title to run, guys, I have to say. So running this game with no upscalers at all is really hard. Surprisingly though, both of these GPUs are getting around 60 FPS, so it's really nice to see. The 1% lows seem to be looking fairly decent. They do go under 60 sadly. If you enable DLSS and FSR, maybe a little bit of frame generation, you should be completely fine. Sadly, later in this benchmark, we are going to see that the 1% lows got a bit worse, so they did drop under 40. Both of the cards were like, on the 0-1% lows, they were getting 37 to 38 FPS. It is a UE5 title, so it is going to have these stutters when it's loading stuff in. But if you do enable like frame generation and DLSS and FSR, you should be getting a pretty decent experience. And lastly, we have Atom 4 running at 4040p ultra settings. We are seeing that the 4070 Super is getting around 20 FPS more than the 9070. The 4070 Super did stutter for a little second there, but it's going to go back to normal in a minute. I'm not sure if the 4070 Super is going to run out of VRAM with these settings, because I know in 4K it did basically run out of VRAM, because this game can use quite a lot of VRAM. It can use like 50 gigabytes of VRAM in 4K. I'm not sure how it is in 4040p, but I think it's very close to the limit anyway of the 4070 Super, because it only has 12 gigabytes of VRAM. I think it should be fine in 4040p, but you definitely can't play in 4K with the 4070 Super in this title, because it will definitely run out of VRAM. But in 4040p, you should be, I think, just about fine, I think. But I've noticed that not a lot of you are even looking at this benchmark too much anyway, so probably not a lot of you are playing this game anyway. So alright guys, so we're at the end of the video. I think the 9070 did a really good job in this test. I mean, the 4070 Super did a fantastic job as well. Sadly, it does only have that 12 gigabytes of VRAM. I think if you do have the 4070 Super, I think it would be a good idea to maybe sell it. I sold mine for £480, guys, so I basically lost only £100 on this GPU. You can invest, you know, another 100, and then you could get the 9070, and you can have that 16 gigabytes of VRAM and not worry about running any game. But you know, if you still want to stick with the 4070 Super, you should be completely fine in 1440p. But anyway, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Comment, like, subscribe, guys, and see you guys in the next video. Thank you for watching.